Hey, Peace Nuxil. It's Jordan here. Just wanted to provide everyone with an update in regards to the McDougall Creek wildfire situation that we're currently facing. We want to express our deepest sympathies and condolences and well wishes to everyone affected at this time. And I feel it's very important to make sure that our membership is provided an update as best we can. First and foremost, it was a devastating and very long night for many of us, for our firefighters, RCMP, and frontline workers. Who worked tirelessly throughout the night to battle the fire as best they could. It's a difficult time, obviously, and we really appreciate their efforts and the collaboration across our communities to make sure that the response to this wildfire is as best as can be at this time. We extend our sympathy to all those affected by the events, those who are on evacuation order, and it has been confirmed that there has been a number of structures that were lost over the evening, and as difficult as it is to acknowledge that, I also want to give credit to our firefighters and frontline workers for protecting as many structures as they can. Although we lost a number, we saved many more. So I want to give thanks to the firefighters from all regions that have come into our territory to help support the efforts to combating this fire. At this time, I want to emphasize that it's a time to come together as Westbank First Nation members, but also across community so we can support one another, connect families and loved ones, provide the supports and the space that's needed at this time to house and accommodate all of the needs. I do want to emphasize at this point that we are in a state of emergency. And in this state of an emergency, Westbank First Nation falls under what's called the Emergency Operations Center, the EOC. And so all operations are then undertaken and overseen by the EOC as itself. As much as this is a collaborative effort, I really want to thank our Director of Operations and our support staff that have been attending the EOC, Dolores Ellingbo, Joe Moselek, Krista Derrickson, and we have other staff members that will be attending, just so that it's a 24/7 job, and so we have to make sure that we're providing the supports needed. I also want to give credit to our staff who are influencing the decision making that's taking place there. So as much as the EOC takes over the jurisdiction and responsibilities, I want you to know that Westbank First Nation works hand in hand with everyone at that table to make sure that our needs are being met. But I also want to give thanks to our community, to our leadership, for offering as much as we can to provide supports. We have opened our gymnasium as an emergency evacuation center. It is not being utilized at this time, but it is prepared, it's set up and ready to go for intake if and when needed. We've also offered our cutoff lands for an emergency fire response site, whether that means helicopters, helicopter landing site, or a fire camp for the firefighters themselves. That is made available to them. And also we've been working with the City of West Kelowna to make sure that if needed and if possible, we can set up fire guards. And as much as that seems as a necessary and important step, there still has to be collaboration and coordination to make sure that it's done effectively. So we are trying to establish as many fire guards in the most effective areas as possible over the night last night and as we speak right now. I also want to give thanks to all the staff that have remained on site here at the WFN office, at Community Services, at our Utilities office as well, and our Public Works team. We have to acknowledge that as much as we want to support our members, our staff are also affected by these orders, some of which have to leave their homes. And so as much as we want to continue to provide the services that are needed by our members, please be respectful and mindful that it just might not be able to happen at this time. We encourage everybody that has any questions or any needs whatsoever to first go to the CORD emergency website, which will be attached to this video here and provided in other messaging through SMEMI and wherever we can get it out. That is your first point of information. That's the most up-to-date and most accurate and factual information that you can provide and be provided. So please reach out, go to that website and seek out that information. We also have a central number for members. It's the Emergency Support Services. So the number is 250-469-8490. That's emergency services, so it's not a WFN specific number, it's an emergency number. And the toll-free number is 1-877-569-8490. So if there's anything that you need, please reach out to those numbers first and foremost, and we'll do our best to coordinate. for Westbank First Nation members. If there is something that you need and you need it immediately, we are going to utilize our LEOs as the kind of the central point of contact. So if you want support right away, if you need to be evacuated, whatever it is, and it is an emergency, please call 250-717-6147. With that number, you'll be able to touch base with our LEO team, and they'll direct you to whomever you may need to touch base with. At this time, we are asking everyone to stay calm. It is a very intense and dire situation. We have to prepare and plan for the worst, but at the same time, staying calm, staying off the roads if possible is emphasized at this time, to make space for those being evacuated and the emergency services vehicles that need to attend certain areas, and they're jumping from site to site. In the event that you are evacuated from your home due to a wildfire, it is imperative that you register with the ESS in your area. In our case, it'd be the Jim Lind Arena, to ensure all evacuees are accounted for and first responders do not get back in looking for individuals who have already evacuated. So if you've evacuated your home, please register so that we don't send folks into possibly dangerous situations. The ESS is also responsible for setting up evacuees up with vouchers for hotel rooms in your area, meals, etc. So there'll be a website that you can link into to pre-register if you're on alert, or register if you have been evacuated, or you can go to the Royal LePage Place, the Jim Lind Arena at 2760 Cameron Road. Again, it's important to stay calm, to be prepared, and have a plan with your family. We want you to know that we have your best interests at heart. We want to provide you with as much information as possible, but it has to be factual, and so we're working with the EOC to make sure that all the information that can be provided as quickly as possible. But please continuously check in on the website, the emergency services website. If you want to subscribe for an e-news update at thecourtemergency.ca for the most up-to-date information on these files in your area, that's a possibility, and they'll send you notifications to your phone right away. So that's the quickest response that you can get. A map is also available on that website, which can be zoomed in on, and you can even look up your own address to see if your area is affected, either by an evacuation alert, order, or anything more severe. The map is updated as soon as any information is changed. At this time, I think it's important to note that BC Wildfire Services is working very collectively with all the fire departments that have attended the scene. We have a number of aircrafts, 4 helicopters on site, with a few more expected to arrive later today, plus aircraft who spread out the fire retardant on sites, but that can only be accessed when it's safe to do so. The priorities right now for our firefighters is to stop the fire. I know folks want an assessment of the area, they want an assessment of structures and all those things, and that does come after the fire is controlled. So as soon as the fire is in a controlled state, then everyone will start working on an assessment of the damages, an assessment of areas, and then after that, when it's safe to do so, they will start to work to return folks to their homes and the respective affected areas. I also want to be honest with you, the expectations for today and going into this evening are very similar to last night. We expect strong winds, we expect a shift in the winds, and as night comes upon us, the fire is going to be very clear and visible, and it's going to look very scary. But again, we emphasize the need to stay calm, stay with your families, and have a plan in place and be ready to leave at a moment's notice. It was clear last night with the fire jumping across to the Kelowna side that things can happen in an instant. And so as much as you might feel ready to pack, we encourage you to have a bag ready to go with all your emergency supplies, emergency contact numbers, your medications if needed, and anything else that is a priority for you to leave at a moment's notice. But at the end of the day, we just want to give thanks to everyone that's putting in efforts to support all those affected by this wildfire. We want to give thanks to our firefighters, to our frontline workers, to our LEOs, to the staff here at WFN who've been working 24/7 to get as much information so that we can turn it and share it with everybody. Moving into this weekend, it is expected that this will be an ongoing event throughout the weekend and going into next week. Again, we'll do our best to communicate and provide updates when we can, and when we have information that may or may not change. We want you to know that everyone in our community is in our thoughts and prayers. Those who have been affected, those who have lost homes, and those who are working to protect everyone. When it comes to an evacuation order, we encourage you and strongly emphasize that you leave. And if you're in an evacuation alert area and you can get ahead of that, that's also encouraged as well. There was an instance last evening where folks who refused to leave during the evacuation order were required to be sent in emergency responders, who then were trapped by the fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt or harmed during those events, but it just emphasizes the need to comply with the evacuation orders. Again, thank you very much for everyone for working to support each other. You're in our thoughts and prayers. We'll do our best to provide as many updates as we can over the weekend. Again, the number to reach out if you're in an emergency situation for our WFN members is 250-717-6147. If you're in another emergency situation, please call 250-469-8490 or 1-877-569-8490. But again, if there's any emergencies in your home, in your area, or whatever it might be, don't hesitate to call 911. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for your calmness, your willing to work together. Wish you all the best. We'll talk soon. Bye.